Hello everyone! If you're about to watch Daredevil Born Again Season 2, but don't remember what happened in Season 1, well, I've got you covered. This is what you're missing. Season 1 starts off with Matt Murdock, Foggy Nelson, and Karen Page leaving their offices of Nelson, Murdock, and Page, avocados at law.
Avocados at law.
I never got that joke.
Avocados.
Avocado.
Spanish for lawyers.
They head to a party at Josie's bar where their friend Cherry is celebrating retiring from the NYPD. Foggy is seen talking with their other friend, Kirsten McDuffie, an assistant district attorney, and he orders them a couple of glasses of 20-year-old O'Melvinese, a drink Foggy and Matt would order after winning a case. He then receives a phone call from a client he's been protecting, Benny Cafaro. He takes the phone call outside, and Matt uses his super hearing to listen in and hears feeling unsafe.
What? No. Just stay there. I'm literally around the corner. I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Matt quickly leaves the bar and rushes to help save but along the way, he hears Foggy's client apologize to him and the clicking of a gun.
Foggy, he wanted to know where you were. I'm sorry.
Matt realizes it's a setup and rushes back to Foggy, knowing he's in danger. Before Daredevil can get back in time, it's too late and Foggy is shot by Bullseye, a US Army veteran and former FBI agent with deadly accuracy. Just before Bullseye shoots Karen, Daredevil swings into action and the two battle it out, eventually making their way to the rooftop. While this is going on, Foggy succumbs to his injuries and dies. Matt hears this from the rooftop and throws Bullseye off the roof. While mourning, he takes his helmet off just as Cherry reaches the rooftop, revealing to him that he is Daredevil.
Matt.
In anguish, Matt tosses his helmet off the roof, signifying that he no longer wishes to be Daredevil.
Many months later.
Matt testifies at Bullseye's trial, saying that no matter what verdict he receives, there wouldn't be any justice, since Foggy wouldn't come back. Bullseye, real name Benjamin Poindexter,
he looks just like you, Poindexter!
is sentenced to life in prison. Nelson, Murdock, and Page disbands with Karen moving to San Francisco, and Matt starting a new firm with Kirsten McDuffie, named Murdock and McDuffie. Kirsten tells Matt to meet up with a potential client named Heather Glenn at a coffee shop. She also told Heather that Matt is looking for a therapist in an attempt to get them to start dating, which works. Meanwhile, Wilson Fisk's wife, Vanessa, has been running his criminal empire while he was away taking care of personal business. We see her holding a meeting with the 5 families, a group of 5 organized crime families that operate in New York. The head of each family are Vanessa, Luca, Alex, Victor, and Carlo. During this meeting, Wilson returns home, which shocks everyone, including Vanessa. He informs her that he has the 25,000 signatures needed and announces to the city that he will be running for mayor of New York.
Tonight I'm declaring my candidacy for mayor of New York.
Nope, don't like that.
We later meet Daniel Blake, who's a bit of a fanboy of Fisk's.
Mayor Fisk. That's the coolest thing on the planet.
It's here we also meet Buck Cashman,
My name is Buck, and I'm here to...
who is an associate and fixer of Vanessa and Wilson Fisk. Matt waits outside Fisk's office to meet with him. The two go to a diner and speak one-on-one.
I tried to mentor someone, but...
Didn't she shoot you in the face?
Yeah.
Got better.
Matt tells Fisk that if he steps out of line, he will be there. Fisk wants to know if this warning comes from Matt Murdock or Daredevil. Fisk goes on to win the election and becomes mayor of New York.
No, don't like that.
He gives his victory speech and talks about how vigilantes are a threat to New York City.
We know how to take care of ourselves. We don't need a gun-toting vigilante who wears a skull on his chest, or a man who dresses in a spider outfit, or a guy who wears devil horns to save us.
Meanwhile, in the subway, Hector Ayala witnesses two men attacking a lone civilian, Nicky Torres. Hector interferes in the beating, causing one of the men to fall on the tracks just as a train is coming through. As it turns out, the two men were corrupt officers. Officer Powell arrests Hector and frames him for the murder of a police officer. While Matt is visiting a client at the police station, he overhears the cops beating Hector, telling him that he will confess for the murder. Matt runs the lie detector test on Hector with his hearing, and takes him on as a client, despite knowing he's hiding something. He finds out Hector moonlights as a vigilante known as White Tiger. He wears something known as the Amulet of Power to get his special abilities. Officer Powell finds the location of Nicky Torres and sets out to silence him, so he can't testify in the trial. Matt overhears this and reaches Torres first. The officers go to put a bullet in Matt's head, but he takes them out, which he hates that he has to do. During the trial, Matt reveals to the court that Hector moonlights as the White Tiger vigilante, and that he spends his time saving people and not committing crimes. This works, and the jury finds Hector Ayala not guilty. While wearing his White Tiger outfit, Hector hits the streets only to be shot and killed by somebody wearing a Punisher vest. After the coroner discloses to Matt that the bullet casing wasn't found, he heads to the scene of the crime and finds it rolled to a nearby gutter. He discovers the Punisher's emblem engraved on it and goes to talk with Frank Castle, the Punisher. The two meet up, and it was suggested that Ayala was murdered by a crooked cop who idolizes the Punisher. Daniel Blake is out partying with BB Urich, who's a journalist and host of the BB Report, a series where she interviews citizens on the streets, asking their opinions on things going on in New York. He discloses to her that Fisk is working on a recycling idea, circumventing union contracts, starting with the ports that have no jurisdictions. She goes on to publish a story with the headline, Mayor Garbage, a Union Buster. Mayor Fisk is shown the article and demands to find out who on his team is at fault. Blake tells Fisk that he was the one responsible for the leak. He apologizes profusely and tells him that he's eternally loyal. Fisk likes how he took responsibility for his actions and doesn't fire him. People make mistakes, but loyalty? That's hard to come by. Mayor Fisk and Vanessa begin seeing Heather Glenn as a marriage counselor. Vanessa reveals to her that she's been having an affair with a man named Adam, while Fisk was away taking care of personal business. Heather goes to Matt's place to see him and hang out. After hanging out, Matt gets up, grabs his billy club, and starts practicing his techniques on the roof. During this time, Fisk is seen eating dinner by himself in front of a caged Adam, the man that Vanessa had an affair with. Matt goes to the bank to get a loan for his law firm. He speaks with assistant manager Yusuf Khan, who is the father of Miss Marvel herself, Kamala Khan. A bank robbery takes place, with Devlin leading the charge. Devlin is a member of the Five Families, and he's there to help another member, Luca, pay his $1.8 million restitution to Wilson Fisk. Matt ends up taking two of the masked men out and finds the diamond they were looking for. He throws the diamond to Devlin just as SWAT raids the bank. During the chaos, Devlin changes into a police uniform and leaves, passing the bagged diamond off to a hostage who was working with the masked men undercover. Matt leaves the building, puts on the mask of one of the robbers, and catches up to Devlin. He beats him down and breaks his leg in the process. Damn! The woman who received the diamond gets to a safe spot and discovers that she doesn't have the diamond, but a piece of candy.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
Matt is back at the bank talking to Yusuf, who finds the diamond hidden in his candy dish. Luca pays a visit to Mayor Fisk, and he reminds Luca that he still owes the $1.8 million restitution, and he must pay it to Victor. Luca taunts Mayor Fisk and voices his unwillingness to pay, so Fisk increases the restitution to $2.8 million. Sheila Rivera, who is Fisk's assistant and political advisor, introduces him to a sanitation employee who is tasked with removing anti-Fisk graffiti. He tells Fisk that the mural he was trying to clean off is made from human blood. This is the work of serial killer Muse. He collects his victims, brings them to his lair in the subway tunnels, and drains their blood for the purpose of using it in his artwork. Angela Del Toro, the niece of Hector Ayala, goes to Matt's law firm and tells him that Hector was investigating the kidnappings of innocent people and asks Matt to help her look into it. He tells her to leave it to the authorities, but she doesn't and ends up getting kidnapped when snooping around his lair. Mayor Fisk talks with Commissioner Phil Gallo, who thinks they should let the public know about Muse so they can avoid him. Fisk doesn't like this idea, saying that Muse may go into hiding and they'll never catch him. He creates a task force with special privileges, full of officers that are known to be extreme in their means of protecting the law. They become the Anti-Vigilante Task Force, or the AVTF. Matt gets a call from Soledad, the widow of Hector Ayala, saying her niece Angela didn't come home last night. Matt concludes she must have went investigating Muse and heads to the subway tunnels.
Fuck it.
He finds Muse's lair and intervenes just in time to save her.
He made it!
They fight back and forth, but Daredevil hears Angela's heart rate stop and has to resuscitate her to bring her back. Muse takes this opportunity to escape. Buck Cashman tells Fisk that a victim was able to escape Muse with the help of Daredevil. Detective Angie Kim briefs Mayor Fisk about her findings in Muse's lair. The lead suspect is Bastion Cooper, who met with Heather Glenn at a book signing earlier and is now a patient of hers. Fisk takes this information and gives the AVTF the task of taking down Bastion Cooper.
And I'll take it from here.
Daredevil is investigating the lair himself when he discovers a painting of Heather and realizes that she is the next target. The AVTF also come to the same conclusion and aren't far behind Matt. Bastion is in a therapy session with Heather when he gets a nosebleed and uses the blood to draw a portrait of the Muse mask, confirming Heather's suspicions that he is the serial killer. She tries to escape, but he bashes her head into a wall, knocking her out and ties her up. When she comes to, Muse tells her that she's the reason he's able to show who he really is. He begins to drain her blood when he hears police sirens closing in on the building. He begins strangling her before Daredevil busts through the window. The two fight it out before Heather grabs a gun and shoots Muse, killing him. The AVTF break down the door and discover Muse's dead body and Heather unconscious. Daredevil is already gone. A lead member of the AVTF tells Fisk about their findings, and that Daredevil was the one that stopped Muse. Fisk spins this and tells everybody that it was the task force that stopped Muse, not Daredevil.
What we do know is that you and your men did your job. That you stopped Muse. You are heroes. There was no one else up here. Isn't that right, Sergeant North?
Yes, it is, Mr. Mayor.
Despite BB reporting that Daredevil stopped it, Blake tells her to play ball with Fisk and his team, or they could make her life worse.
And what you decide in the next few seconds will determine how totally awesome but totally shitty the rest of your life is. And I'd be so stoked if you made the right call, you know?
Fisk takes Vanessa to Red Hook Port, to the hidden dungeon he has, where he's been keeping her former lover, Adam, and asks her to decide Adam's fate. Instead of letting him go, she kills Adam and reconciles with Fisk. Heather and Matt are talking about what she went through with Muse, and she compares the masked serial killer to Daredevil, saying they're the same breed.
Not sure you can put Muse and Daredevil in the same category.
I'm not so sure that you can't. They're just these underdeveloped boys hiding behind masks, trying to make it look like something more sophisticated.
Just then, Cashman knocks at the door and invites Heather to a black and white ball the Fisks are having. She invites Matt, who seems cold about the idea. When Matt arrives at his law firm, Kirsten McDuffie tells him that Poindexter was placed in general population and now wants to speak to him. He finds out that Fisk was in charge of his transfer to Gen Pop. Matt needs to unwind a little and goes to the closed Josie's bar and has a drink with Josie. During the interaction, Josie mentions that Foggy was drinking their special O'Melvinies the night he died.
Yeah, but he wasn't drinking O'Melvins.
Yeah. Fitting, because he was the last customer to order.
No, Josie, I think you're wrong about that.
How many oceans of Irish do you think I serve here? I know what my people drink.
Matt finds it odd he would order their special drink, and concludes that Foggy must have already known that he was going to win the case he was on, and somebody had him silenced. Matt visits Poindexter in prison, and asks him if he was hired by Fisk to kill Foggy, and if Fisk wants to silence Poindexter now because he's a loose end. Poindexter asks Matt to represent him in court, and get him out of prison if he wants to know the answers. He responds by smashing his head into the table.
He started smashing his face against the table.
Crazy asshole. Thank you, counselor.
You're welcome.
Poindexter... You know, I'm just going to call him Bullseye from now on. Bullseye is taken to a prison doctor to tend to his wounds. He reveals to the doctor that he broke his tooth and uses it to take out the guard and break free, escaping in a guard's uniform on a prison bus. Mayor Fisk is liking the way Daniel Blake has been proving himself and promotes him to Deputy Mayor of Communications. At the black and white ball, Vanessa talks with Heather and tells her that she worked things out with her husband and they have resolved their issues. Matt arrives as Heather's +1, and she voices her frustrations about him being physically and emotionally distant as of late. He overhears Fisk blackmailing and leveraging wealthy elites into supporting his project at the Red Hook port. A journalist, undercover as a waiter, snaps a picture of Fisk, and he tells his AVTF security to take care of it. Commissioner Phil Gallo tries to intervene, but Powell sticks the journalist's hand in hot oil and tells Gallo they don't answer to him anymore, they answer to Fisk. As Fisk continues blackmailing investors, BB catches up with Gallo, who wants to do an interview with him.
Do you know that Wilson Fisk was the main suspect in your uncle's murder?
Yeah. I did.
You see, Fisk killed her Uncle Ben. No, not that uncle. Nope, not that one either. Ben Urich was an investigative journalist in the Netflix Daredevil series, and Fisk murdered him for speaking to his mother during an investigation. BB and Gallo agree to meet again so she can find out the truth behind Fisk and his task force. During a dance with Fisk and Vanessa, Matt interferes by dancing with Heather nearby. While overhearing Vanessa talking to Fisk, he realizes that Vanessa was the one who ordered the hit on Foggy. She visited him in prison and told him that she would be able to free him if he agrees to take out the 2 targets for her. The 2 targets being Foggy Nelson and his client. When he confronts Vanessa about it, he hears Bullseye loading a gun and taking aim at Mayor Fisk. He dives in front of the bullet, saving Fisk's life. Fisk demands a citywide crackdown, not just on Bullseye, but all vigilantes. He sends Cashman to the hospital where Matt is recovering, because it would be better if he died from his injuries he sustained while saving the mayor rather than if he lived as a vigilante. Cashman enters the hospital, and Matt can hear him coming. Cashman looks at his watch, counting down to when the power goes out in all of New York City. Matt escapes the room before Cashman gets in, and makes his way home to find the Punisher waiting for him. He got a phone call from Karen Page asking him to help Matt. The AVTF show up to kill Matt, and a big battle ensues. While Matt and Frank are arguing about murdering one of the crooked cops, Matt hears a grenade being thrown, and they jump out the window to safety. Karen picks them up and takes them to Frank's hideout where they get stitches and recover. Matt and Karen head out to find the files that Foggy had in a storage lockup, looking for information on the case that got him killed. They discover that Red Hook Port is a free port, exempt from the jurisdiction of New York and the US as a whole. Matt realizes that the Fisks were interested in the pier to build their own city-state, legalizing all their crimes, and Foggy was murdered for finding this out.
Now that I'm mayor, we can move billions.
With the power out citywide, crime and looting get out of control. The AVTF starts shooting people and covering it up as if they were stopping mass vigilantes.
Jesus, Bert, he's just a kid.
No, he's not a kid. It's a mass vigilante.
The Punisher finds out where AVTF are stationed and makes his way to the port to do what he does best.
Oh boy, here I go killing again.
He takes out a few officers until he's overwhelmed, and then they neutralize him. They hold him captive and tell him that they idolize him and it would be an honor to have him join their ranks. Of course, the Punisher declines, and they end up throwing him in Fisk's hidden jail. While still imprisoned in Fisk's dungeon, Punisher talks with an AVTF officer who is an admirer of his. He uses this vulnerability to take the officer out and free himself. Commissioner Gallo tells Sheila he's going to stop Fisk, who can't get away with what he's doing. She reports this to Fisk, who now has to remove the problem. Gallo is taken to see Fisk at a secret location and is then murdered.
We will keep this city safe. Threaten our homes. Any questions?
Daredevil and Karen arrive at Red Hook Port and see that it's crawling with AVTF officers. There's no way Matt could survive infiltrating it. Daredevil tells Karen
We need an army.
he gathers who he can at Josie's bar, Cherry, Detective Angie Kim, and several NYPD officers who oppose Fisk. The morning after the power outage, the electricity is restored to New York. Heather is offered a position of Commissioner of Mental Health on Fisk's team, which she accepts. Mayor Fisk then addresses the people of New York. He puts the blame of what transpired the night before on mass vigilantes. He enacts the Safer Streets Initiative, effectively putting New York under martial law, with the anti-vigilante task force maintaining order. And that is everything from Season 1. Now here's what we can look forward to from each character in Season 2. Showrunner Dario Scardapane confirmed that the Mayor Fisk storyline is wrapping up by the end of Season 2, which not only means that Kingpin is no longer the mayor, but I think it's safe to say that his political advisor, Sheila Rivera, will take his place. We see in the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer that she gives Spider-Man a key to the city, which is typically what the mayor of a city does. This also shows that not only is this new administration not anti-vigilante, but in fact, they want to celebrate them for their heroism. So we have Fisk's downfall to look forward to, and likely the ending of the anti-vigilante task force. They might end up disbanding, but I could also see the Department of Damage Control being interested in taking over control of the AVTF for their continued task of stopping superpowered individuals. I think Matt goes into hiding for a little while. He may be bunking up with Karen somewhere, and the AVTF find him and infiltrate his hideout. This could be where he goes to a church to recuperate, and we see Jessica Jones track him down to help him and join his army. Jessica is a private investigator, hence why she was able to find Matt. A private research company revived her after a fatal car crash that killed her family. They did this through genome editing, and she developed her powers from there. She has enhanced strength, durability, speed, and healing factors. She dated a villain named Kilgrave, who has mind control powers, but she was more of a slave in that situation. She eventually became strong enough to break up with him. She has an adopted sister, Trish Walker, also known as Hellcat. There hasn't been any hints that she could be in Born Again Season 2, but it's worth mentioning her just in case. Jessica and Matt have a history together, teaming up in the team and TV series, The Defenders, with fellow members Luke Cage and Danny Rand, also known as Iron Fist. From the Season 2 trailer, we see Cash Buckman and Daniel Blake opening the trunk of a car. Daniel cannot believe what he's looking at. I'm guessing that he's looking at the body of former Commissioner Phil Gallo. This is almost certainly going to change how he sees Fisk. Phoebe is going to bring up how she was supposed to do an interview with Gallo, and how she finds it strange that he disappeared. Blake might not be able to contain himself, and he may just end up spilling the beans to her. As for what part everybody else has in the show going forward, I have no clue. What do you guys think? What does Bullseye have in store for us this year? Will we see a Defenders reunion? Please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And that was what you're missing.